Alright, this is a video going to be talking about how I got this car, like I said in the last video. And it all started back in July of last year. I was in Florida, and I think it was on a Thursday, my uncle sent me a picture of this car. At the time it had black rims because they were plastic dipped black, but I had to take them off because they were chipping, but nonetheless, he sent me a picture of this car, and as soon as I seen it, I was intrigued because at the time I was carless. I was looking for one. So we talked a little bit, and then we decided to wait until we get back to Florida to talk further. And my dad had a black truck at the time, a 2004 vehicle, I want to believe, Chevy Silverado. It was all black, lifted, had the 5.3 Vortec in it. I drove it for a little bit. It was a good truck. I thought about taking ownership of it, but at the time I didn't have the money. But we talked out a deal. We sell the truck, use that money for my dad to buy this car, and I bought the car off my dad basically, and I'm doing payments to him. I believe I got another year left until this car is fully mine. But that's basically how I got the car. Now, I've had it for almost a year now. It's almost July again. It'll be a full year then. This car hasn't been too big of a pain. I have some ideas with it though, some plans. Thinking about keeping this for a while probably. Getting another car, turning this to a project, put a turbo on it, see what I can do with it. But we can only see what the future has for us then. Here's the interior, if you were curious. Not the best of shape. The ground's still a little dirty. Ceiling still needs cleaned. I haven't done much to the interior except for this Sony radio here. I got that for my first vehicle, a 2005 Mercedes-Benz ML350 Special Edition. That was also a pretty good car, but I had to sell it because the whole front end was going bad. Like struts, the steering pump kept going bad. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore and I sold it. And then I got a Honda Civic, and that's actually a funny story because that was my last vehicle and I lost it. How I lost it? It's pretty dumb. It was a day in Indiana where it was raining super bad. There was a tornado last year, and my work parking lot where I park at, it's basically the lowest point of the property. So at the time, all that water was just going down there, and it didn't help that the drain system backed up too, so that made water flow even faster. So basically, the parking lot flooded, the kitchen flooded too. Half the building was out of commission due to that. But I should have never started the car because at the time, so the airbox is right over on this side, and there's a tube that goes down, and then a U-tube that goes back up to the side, and it's facing this way to grab air from under the hood. But that tube that goes from the airbox down, that U-tube, it was gone. It wasn't there, so it's basically a tube from the airbox down. That's it. Sucking water right in. I didn't even know at the time, and it just hydrolocked it, totaled it basically. Insurance company said 3 months prior to my vehicle flooding, Indiana made it where you can't buy back flooded vehicles no matter what. So that car was gone. I think it was like 1 or 2 months I was without a car, maybe 3. I didn't have a car for a while. And then my dad got the truck. Actually, he got a Jeep, actually. I'm going backtrack on that. He got a Jeep. It was a manual Jeep. I think it was a Cherokee 2-door. It was pretty old. I think it was in 1990. That's how I learned how to drive a manual. That Jeep was pretty fun. I liked it. Then he traded it for this truck, and that black it was a black Chevy Silverado. And we had that for a while. Now that I think about it, I should have kept it. I really wanted to keep it. By the time I couldn't afford it, and apparently, my dad said the frame was rusted, and you don't want that at all. The vehicle is basically donezo. So we used that truck to get this, basically. And now this is mine. And like I said, I got some plans with it later, maybe. I'm just not sure yet. It just depends on how I'm financially doing, really. But, yeah, that's basically how we got this car. But future plans now, I'm honestly not 100% sure of what I want to do. Like, I 80% want to keep it, and then 20%, like, when I get it paid off, get something else, because it has a lot of miles. Let me get the keys and show you guys. $192,664 miles. Almost 200,000. Turn the power on. There we go. Yeah, almost 200,000. I don't know if it'll be worth it if I keep it and put a turbo on it, because the vehicle is already 16 years old. And if I want to put a turbo on it, there's another person, there's like one or two other people on YouTube that has this exact car with the same motor. This has a 3.6 that have turbo on it, but like they did it a while ago. That's when their engines were still, normal wear. But I don't know if it's worth doing it now that has kind of heavy wear and it's like 16-year-old motor. Like, you pretty much have to rebuild the motor to make sure nothing happens. Like, get new rings and new timing chain. That takes a lot of time and money I don't have right now. So, I mean, like I said, it just depends on how the future pans out. And we'll see what we can do then. But right now, this is just my only car. To and back from work and school and driving around and going to friends right now. And if you want to know a little bit about these cars, they have 255 horsepower and I think 250 torque. And it's a 3.6 liter V6 with either VVT or a Doge. Let me see. Yeah, it's a VVT, a variable valve timing. I would be driving around and talking about it, but if you didn't watch the last video, what happened basically, I was driving into my neighborhood one day, and when I pulled in, I had the throttle about halfway, trying to get up to the speed limit at a reasonable pace. And next thing I know, the engine felt like it wanted to start a little bit, and then boom! I thought I spun the rod. But no, it just turns out on this side, the passenger side, where the exhaust manifold is, and the Cadillac converter, those two bolts that hold it together, it was the last person that owned it welded it on there or something, and it was basically not the best job, and it just blew out basically. And half the engine has no compression basically, and it didn't like that at all. So you can drive it, but I don't want to risk messing it up or anything, or dying because of the fumes. But yeah, that will probably do it for this video. Next video, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Hopefully I'll be driving it next video. But, we can only see what the future has. I'm not sure what's going on right now. With the COVID thing, it's still going on, sadly. Still in lockdown, can't do anything. So, next video, we'll see. So, leave a like, subscribe, and comment if you want. Free country. See you guys later.